Hi everyone, Akshat Bahety here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to utilize this agent swarm to actually create amazing blogs, right? You can utilize this system and help other businesses scale their content game. So let's get started. I have got some crazy outputs from this particular agent, which we have very detailed blogs written automatically, which are extremely good. I have ton of these options, which you can directly you can really copy and paste. I have shown these blogs to some people and they could not recognize if this was the real deal, if this was written by someone or this was written by AI, and that's the whole idea. Let's get started with the demo, and after that I'll explain you how this works. So I'm just going to start with triggering my agent by saying hi. Right now it's technically going to ask me a couple of questions that it needs to write the blog. So very simply, it wants the blog title, the industry, and the company name. I'm just going to say blog title needs to be how to take your first loan, right? And industry is going to be loan industry. And then company name, I'm taking an example of an actual company name, which is like rate.com, right? This is a famous US organization for home buyers and everything else. So I'm just going to say this, right? Again, rate.com, right? And I'm just going to reply. After this, I'm pretty much done. It's now going to go ahead and utilize all the tools that it has access to. So we have the main agent here, which is the orchestrator, and then it has access to these particular agents, which is competitor finder and a blog writer. It's going to go ahead and now search for competitor blogs, bring all of that back, and then finally give it to the blog writer. Honestly, this particular agent takes roughly a minute to create a blog, because the point is it's an extremely high quality blog and also gets really great results. So I'm just going to fast forward this process and then explain you when we get the output. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, it has created again a full blog, right? Again here, and now I can just ask it to very simply again, and it's very detailed, extremely detailed with how to actually take a loan, how to calculate the interest rates and everything else, and all those details. I'm just going to say, you know what, go ahead and update it in the folder and the sheet. Right now, it's going to go ahead and actually create the document also, so I don't even need to copy and paste, right? It will automatically go ahead and create a document for my use case. But again, very simply, we're going to walk through on every part of how this blog works and everything else. But in a second or so, it is going to create the drive file. Now again, it took roughly 2.5-3 minutes to run this whole blog. Okay, it's going to create. Till then, let me show you how does our system look like. Okay, very simply. So the first step that this thing does is goes ahead and tries to find competitors. So whichever industry you have inputted in, very simply it's going to go ahead and try to find the competitors that are there. So what competitors exist in that particular place, so that we can go ahead and look at their particular blogs, and it will update here in the sheet. Then as you can see, this is the place where it will add your blog. So as you can see, it has already added the blog, which is how to take your first loan. It has the content type. I've given it a couple of content types which it has options to, right? And I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see better. Then it has the keywords, so you can even utilize these details directly when you're uploading a blog. So it's not only the blog writing part, it also creates the metadata. Competitors, which analyzed what is the unique angle, what is business goal at risk, the Google link, the resources, and everything else. And then technically we run a simple Google Sheet formula here to actually click on this and see the document right here of the blog that it has created, right? And the idea that again, very simply, this is properly created in Markdown. The reason being that you can utilize this in multiple content management systems. Now, this whole thing, right, again, takes roughly 3 to 5 minutes to create a blog, right? Again, with everything done. Plus, in addition to that, it also roughly cost around, you can say, less than 10 cents, right? Less than 10 to 20 cents to run this whole system. So again, let's start by walking through this whole system, but this is how you can create beautiful agent swarms which can do so much more and really try to replace systems. Okay, now with the explanation part, let's come to the executions part, right? Again, because again, I don't want to keep running this and wait. So this roughly took 4 minutes, right? Again, so very simply, when I come here, I'm going to copy all of these details to the editor, and if you don't know how to do that, you can just click on copy to editor and it will copy all the information. Okay, so to get started with the explanation on how this whole thing runs, if you just want the template available, you can go ahead into the link below and sign up for the community, where you find not only this template but also a ton of others, N8N templates for every popular tool out there. With that, let's come back to the explanation. So very simply, here in this place, we start with the orchestrator. Now, orchestrator technically has a clear instructions that how it is going to utilize the tool. So for me to showcase this to you, let me just zoom in. You can see that it has a very simple prompt, which is again created to just have it access two tools, which is competitor finder and a blog writer. because here we are technically referencing the agents also as tools. So the way to do this is very simply like, again, let's say if I wanted to add another agent to this, I will click on tool, right, and very simply select the AI agent tool, right? So again, I will start with AI agent and you click on tool and it will connect you to another tool. So all blog writer and competitor finder also act as a tool here. With that, we connect a GPT model. I'm connecting GPT-5 here very simply to like, make sure that, we have decent cool tool calls and everything else. Then we have the competitor finder option. Here we have a decently explained prompt, what they are going to get from the user, what are the options available, and then again how it's going to access it. You have all the clear options available here, very simply like, with all the details here, and then very simply it's just explaining what tools you have access to, because it just technically needs to utilize Perplexity to actually search for the competitors. That's the most important part. We have added Perplexity here to search the web, and then ensuring that it has access to this Google Sheet tool, that it goes ahead and adds these links in the particular place. So it uses this, uploads all this data, and brings that back. This is how it technically finds all the competition, and you can see the output available here, right? Again, very simply, it has detailed output for everything that it has gone through. You can see the Perplexity output available here. It has gone through multiple outcomes, came with messages. I've also explicitly told that only use it 3 times because I don't want to keep burning through a ton of tokens. Probably 3 times is more than enough to get actually like, a decent amount of access from Perplexity. And then it explains you like, what kind of format I want the responses in and how I want to utilize that. After that, we just simply move on to the blog writer part. So first the competitor finder gets run, and then we have the blog writer. In the blog writer, we have clearly stated that first you need to start with by understanding what the user request was. And in addition to that, we also have a very detailed prompt available for the blog writer here. So let me just like, open this. So this particularly says 3 things. First, again, explaining it what kind of prompt it is, right? Again, and obviously I use like, optimizers to make the prompt better. And then second, it explains the tools that you can use. So it explains you like, you have access to the following tools. So searching the web, again, like, getting details of the competitor blogs and creating blog in Google Drive. Then it explains how to utilize this, and I have a strict order that it has to maintain by searching the web, getting the competitor blogs, and then finally going ahead with the whole process on how to actually work. So it does the competitor analysis, then gets the company context if it has. If it does not have, it can just proceed. And the content types. So you have the news announcement format, you have the technical deep dive, problem solution, thought leadership, different options based on what you want to choose. And then it simply explains how it's going to workflow. Then I have some quality standards and simple requirements on how the output should be. It should always be a Google Drive file with a confirmation in the Google Sheet that this has been uploaded. Once all of this runs, first steps, very simply, it starts by getting a list of competitor blogs. Then it has searching the web, again Perplexity available here, which is goes ahead and searches the web for any additional details. It's very important that you give your agents tools. People sometimes like, just don't give it tools that you will normally have. And whenever you're trying to create an agent, you should always think about it, okay, how will I do this particular activity? So I was going to write a blog. I will go ahead and actually like, very simply think about, okay, what will I need as a tool? Will I search the web? Obviously, yes. Will I use AI? Yes. So I'm utilizing AI. Will I like, find more details? Will I look at other blogs? 110% yes. You will do all of those things. So why don't we give our agents also the same access? And that's why we have access here to go ahead and search the web. Then very simply, I'm using Sonnet 4 here. The reason being that Sonnet 4's writing capacity is 10 times much better compared to any other model right now. Again, GPT-5 is good, but not super great. But like, I still prefer Claude for Sonnet. But if you want to choose something else, like, again, you can go ahead and do that. Once all of this is done, if I bring you to the next execution, it obviously asks you again for a confirmation. Do you still want to proceed while like, utilizing the blog as you see? And then very simply, if I bring this all back and I'm going to unpin, and then it technically creates a document, right? Again, it uses the Google Drive tool to create the document once I confirm it, and then we can see this document available, which is the blog itself, right? Again, created, and if I just like, again, very simply, if I just copy all of this, right, and take it to stack edit and very simply start writing, and I'll show you why, like, again, this exists in JSON, and you can see this is how the quality of the blog comes out to be. This is how actually the quality of the blog comes out to be. Again, and it's like, I can tell you, you add an image to it and this is as good as any other blog that exists out there. Go ahead and do a blind test if you want to. creates the blog, updates all the data in the Google Sheet here, so that we have all the information available here. It has all the proper detailed format. It also has, like, again, very simply, Bank of America, research sources, use the notes again, and, like, all the details that you would need to actually input into the blog. You can use this for metadata and a lot of other things. So again, this is how this whole thing actually works. This is how the whole thing actually works. I have another option here, which is called scraping the blogs. I've created this particular part is to allow it to scrape the blog. So in case it needs to go ahead and get more details about other blogs, it can utilize this workflow, which is very simply gets the details of the competitors from this place. So it gets the details of the competitors, right? And then goes ahead and scrapes a couple of blogs from them, and then very simply utilizes Firecrawl, right? Again, so this is the Firecrawl node. If you don't know Firecrawl, let me show you that, right? Again, very simply, this is the Firecrawl node, turn websites into LLM ready data. Really cool product, actually works much better than Appify. Go ahead and try that out. And then takes all of this data, processes it into a format, and uploads the rows. So you can see the blogs that it has from the competitors available there. So you can see, like, again, it has a couple of blogs. Again, makes a couple of mistakes. It's the same thing, but you can go ahead, and these are actual real links. These are not some links that don't work with AI or hallucination. This is just a simple workflow that allows you to, like, go ahead and see the blogs that are available. So again, how to manage savings and XYZ. So again, really, really important stuff. Now again, you can really utilize that. You can also tell the orchestrator to always scrape the blogs if you want to. Completely depends. So the technical format would that be, then you first find the competition, then scrape the blogs, and then write the blog. Completely up to you. Again, the idea is that you take this agent form, right, and very simply utilize it in the way that you want. And that's what we are trying to help people learn about AI, that, it's about how you want to utilize this template. You can go ahead and change everything that you want, create something completely new, and go from there. With that, again, if you're interested to see more content like this, where you learn about how to utilize N8N and build AI agents, just go ahead and click that red button, subscribe to me, helps me out a lot, and I will love to see you.